What would you do if a passenger vanished from your car? For Elena, a late-night shift as a rideshare driver became her worst nightmare. Elena had been driving for a rideshare app for months. The hours were long, but the pay was decent, and she enjoyed the quiet of late-night drives. That was until one ride changed everything, leaving her questioning what was real. It was a little past midnight when Elena got a ping for a pickup in a quiet residential neighborhood. She pulled up to the curb where a tall figure waited under a flickering streetlight. He wore a long coat, and his face was hidden beneath the brim of a hat. The man slid into the back seat without a word, nodding curtly when she confirmed his destination. Something about him made her uneasy. Maybe it was his silence, or the way he avoided eye contact. Still, she chalked it up to the usual awkwardness of strangers. As they drove, Elena glanced at him in the rearview mirror. That's when she noticed it. His silhouette looked wrong. His shoulders were too broad, his limbs too long, and his head seemed to tilt at an unnatural angle. Elena gripped the steering wheel tighter, telling herself she was imagining things. But the unease grew with every passing mile. The passenger hadn't moved or said a word, and the air in the car felt colder, almost suffocating. She stole another glance in the mirror and froze. The man was staring at her now, his face partially illuminated by passing streetlights. But his features didn't look human. His eyes were wide and reflective, like a predator, and his mouth stretched into a grin that was too sharp, too large. Heart pounding, Elena forced herself to keep driving. "Everything okay back there?" she asked, her voice trembling. The man didn't respond. Instead, he leaned forward, his grin widening. Elena's blood turned to ice as she realized something else. His reflection in the mirror didn't match his position in the seat. It was leaning closer, while his body remained still. Panic took over. Elena slammed on the brakes, the car skidding to a halt on the empty road. She whipped around to confront him, but the back seat was empty. Her breath came in shallow gasps as she scanned the car. The passenger door was still locked, and there was no sign anyone had been there. She checked the app, expecting to find his name or a profile, but the ride had disappeared from her history. As she sat there, trying to process what had just happened, her phone buzzed with a notification. A new ride request had come through. The pickup address? The exact spot where she'd dropped him off. Elena didn't accept the ride. She drove straight home, shaking, and deleted the app the next day. But sometimes, late at night, her phone buzzes with a notification. And every time, the pickup location is the same as that night. Would you keep driving after a ride like this? Tell us in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more stories that might make you rethink the ordinary.